Postpartum depression is a whole other animal that I never thought I'd have to tackle. Initially, because my pregnancy was so wonderful and all roses and sunshine and unicorns and rainbows, I had this sense of, I always would feel that I'm above it in a way. I would hear about women having postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, and the thought was so bizarre to me. Like, why would you even feel that way? You have had this baby that you've wanted for so long, that you waited for 9 whole months, and now that this baby is in your arms, what reason would you have in the world to ever be sad or feel sad? And that was what I used to think, you know. Um, the reality is so different, because there are so many things that trigger you, that there are so many things right from your biology, when it comes to your hormones, just your body changing completely, your body's needs not being met after you deliver, be it sleep wise, or sometimes nutrition also, although I was lucky that I had complete nutrition, but just like sleep being one big reason, apart from so many other triggers, postpartum depression happens. And I wish I could tell myself, the Sarah that was pregnant, say 7, 8 months, 9 months pregnant, that be prepared. It might happen to you, it might not happen to you, but there is a possibility. And I just wasn't ready for it. I was in denial that it will not happen to me, which is why when it did, I was like, wow, am I really that weak? So I wish I could pinpoint one reason or put it in one sentence that this is why I suffered or still suffer from postpartum anxiety and depression. But sadly, there isn't one reason. What happens is that once I delivered, there were tiny things that started cropping up. And all of those things kind of snowballed into one big thing and like hit me right in the face. Let me list out these small triggers. So I would wake up in the middle of the night to check if my baby is still breathing and is still alive. I know even just saying that, it's such a morbid thought, but it happens. Like, you wake up and you're hoping that your baby's still there. The fairies haven't just like magically stolen him away from you. These are such irrational thoughts, but I don't know where they come from, why they come into your brain, but sadly they do. Just wishing so badly that you had your old life back. Even when you were pregnant, you had the freedom to do whatever you wanted, and you just don't anymore because you're tied to the bed. You're tied to, this child who needs you constantly. And you just wish sometimes that you weren't so needed all the time. So the guilt of feeling this way is another small trigger. In my case, breastfeeding was a big one, because I wasn't making enough milk, and just the whole feeling of failure, that I'm just failing as a mom, because my child is completely reliant on me. He does not take solid food just yet because he's just a couple of days, weeks, months old. That was one thing. Obviously, sleep was another big thing for me. Because being woken up constantly, and also you need to understand that I am in recovery, right? Yes, I may not have had a C-section, for which the recovery is absolutely gruesome and painful, but vaginal birth is also pretty, it takes its toll on the body. And I was in recovery. I wanted to rest. I just couldn't rest. My mind was just constantly alert. And that also kind of added fuel to the fire. Another trigger was just watching my husband live the life that he has always lived, with very minor changes here and there, while my life had completely changed. The injustice really comes at you out of nowhere, and it makes you jealous, makes you resentful, it makes you hate your partner, uh, even though a lot of it might not really be their fault, but sadly it happens. Um, Feeling overly possessive, feeling overly protective of this little baby, not wanting anyone else to hold him. These were another couple of triggers. At the same time, I think one of the biggest reasons I was so down and so sad was that as my baby was growing up and progressing into, the fourth, fifth month of his life, I noticed that he was all smiles and giggles for his dad, but not for me. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? Why is he not happy to see me? But he's so happy to see his father. Like belly laughs. You know what belly laughs are, right? So he would look at my husband, he would tickle him, play with him, and I would feel like, bro, I'm the one who gave birth to you. I'm the one who's nursing you, feeding you, waking up in the middle of the night, and you're completely ignoring me. Imagine having that kind of grudge against a baby who doesn't know anything. Like, I look at it now and I'm like, how could my mind even work that way? But it did. And that's what's shocking, right? Your brain is just completely self-sabotaging, right? That's what's happening. And I think after a point, I even stopped trying. I was like, okay, you just need me for the basic stuff, the feeding, bathing, burping, putting you to sleep. That's all I'm here for. That's all I'll do. And I was at war with my baby. As silly as that sounds, I was at war. I was like, okay, I'm not going to play with you. You don't want to play with me. I won't play with you either. It's so silly, I know. But that's what was going through my mind at that time. And it just kept getting worse, because as he started getting into the sort of getting out of the infant baby stage and getting closer towards toddlerhood, it started getting more and more pronounced because he would light up whenever my husband would enter the room. He would laugh for him. He would play with him. But none of that happened with me. And it was just a cycle that kept on getting worse and worse and worse. Until one day, I was like, you know what? In this equation, we can't have two babies. One person has to be the adult. Obviously, it's going to have to be me. So one fine day, I wake up and my baby had already woken up. He was playing with my mom in the other bedroom. So I was like, you know what? Today, I will approach him with a smile on my face. I will attempt to play with him. I might be shut down completely. I might be dismissed, ignored, shooed away, but I will try. Let me give it a try. So I go take a peek at wherever he is. I see what he's doing. I creep back out of the room and I'm slowly tiptoeing and I call his name. And I say, Ezra. He searches. He can't see me yet. And then I pop my head out, slowly pop my head through the door frame, and he sees me and I can see a small smile. And I hide back. I do this peekaboo a couple of times, and with a big exaggerated jump, I just pop into the room and I get a belly laugh out of him. And it's like a light went on in a room that had been dark for months. I see him laugh for me. He was happy to see me. And it made me realize that I wasn't engaging with him. I wasn't playing with him like I was supposed to. This baby, the onus to build a friendship is on me. It's not his responsibility to be friends with me. It is my responsibility to make him my friend, to be his playmate. And once I did that, I did it once. And I would do it again and again and again that entire day. And I would say that it was the 14th of September last year. Almost going to be a year now. And I think at the end of the day, we were best friends. He was like, Mama, where were you? All this while, all I wanted was for you to play with me. And I was like, damn, why didn't I think of this before? The most obvious thing in the world. It's not, and you know what? It's not even like I didn't think of it. I just didn't want to do it because I was in some sort of ego war with an 8-month-old. Can you believe that? Anyway, I'm so glad I talked myself into being the little joker that he needed me to be. Fast forward to now, and this boy won't leave me for even a second. Like, I would be in the kitchen, I have a knife in my hand, and he would be tugging at my pant, like, please lift me up, please pick me up. And he's a complete Velcro baby. And for everyone who tells me that, I'm spoiling him by carrying him too much, that I'm indulging him too much, and that I'm forming these bad habits, I don't think they understand that I'm coming from a place where I have worked very hard to be my child's friend. And now that I am the best person in the world for him, I really want to hog this love and laughter and all this limelight. And I don't want to share it with anybody else. Call me selfish or jealous or controlling or whatever, but I want all that love. And I enjoy all that love. Yes, I'm so tired, and I really wish for a break every now and then, but I like being number one. So yeah, nobody's gonna take that crown away from me until he gets a wife or a girlfriend or whoever, and I will happily cede my crown over then. But yeah, it is what it is. I love being number one right now.